Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Astroguide Mysore. Today, let us discuss the position of Mercury in the 12th house. One of the most important positions for understanding peculiar characteristic of Mercury, which actually gets involved in the 12th house, which is one of the key positions for birth time rectification and many other event understanding of events, because this is a position which is a sure shot that things will hit, and we can tell that this is going to happen. So that sort of a strong position this is, like one of the Karako Bhavanashayas of Jupiter in the fifth house, Venus in the seventh house, and such Karakatwas are there. So of Mercury, that the 12th house gets immensely affected, and the native also goes through a lot of challenges when Mercury is in the 12th house. So now here a benefic Mercury and a malefic Mercury. Let us keep discussing about it. I'll keep toggling between the benefic part of Mercury and the malefic part of Mercury. So we know that Mercury is youth, youngness, freshness, happy going, carefree, fast attitude, and all this goes for a loss if it is malefically posited in the 12th house. A person can start looking aged, or he will talk as though he knows everything in the world, as though he is the, he starts giving advices to people who are above his stature, and even people who are experienced more than him. So this is one thing which happens when Mercury sits in the 12th and is a malefic. If Mercury is in the 12th and it is benefic, these people can do wonderful communicative wonders. Like they can become translators, they can learn foreign languages, they can go to foreign land, ambassadors, they can do wonderful things as a journalist, they can keep roaming around the world for marketing, for financial advisory. Mercury is the best. So when it is well posited in the 12th house, so I'll give you an example. How come it's well posited in the 12th house? Is if I take Libra ascendant and Mercury in the 12th, means that Mercury is either exalted or in its Mula Trikona or in its own house. So that is Kanya Rashi, that is Virgo. So when it is posited in that particular position, it gives rise to an extremely good Raja Yoga, which is also known as the Viparita Raja Yoga. So it's not that if Mercury is placed in the 12th, that 12th everything bad is going to happen. Excellent. I told that a person can become an ambassador. So what else? He can go to heights like becoming a secretary to the government, becoming a top RBI official, going into good banking sectors, doing wonderful jobs. But it has to be benefic. If it is malefic, there are drastic changes which might happen. Like the person might lose interest in life, he would go through problems because of his problems in grasping the knowledge will be very less. He will be bullied in the school and in the colleges. It's like a mediocre life that a person goes through a lot of hardships, because only because he is not that fast and intelligent, he goes through a hardship, because people in the normal circles will be very intelligent, so they will feel that this person is retarded or slow. So that is also one of the major part of Mercury being malefic in the 12th house. So also speculation. Mercury is a very manipulative and speculative planet. They can do a lot of thinking, like detectives. So when it is in the 12th house and it is well posited, these people can be extraordinary speculators. They can understand the market before even the market opens. So they will have done a lot of calculations. So the point is that if Mercury is weak in that 12th house, please do not go into market, do not go into trading, do not go into speculation, do not gamble at any cost, and do not consume alcohol. See, there are so many do's and don'ts. Do not go into speculation, trading, gambling, lottery, or into Alcohol is one very dangerous thing for people who have Mercury in the 12th house, because they will, 12th house Mercury weak is very clearly suggesting that the person will tell a lie even for the smallest thing. So he will have taken this particular way of escapism from reality. He doesn't like reality. So what actually happens is that he keeps on lying and lying and lying, and he builds up. And the day comes when suddenly he has to, keep lying. He has to continue that. He has to remember. He will remember. His memory power is very good, though it is negative or positive. 12th house Mercury gives extraordinary memory power, until unless it is afflicted by Rahu and Ketu, which might give some fit like problems like epilepsy, or problems of the brain where person might go into becoming a bipolar or a ADHD problem, that is attention deficiency. But normally when Mercury is strongly posited or weakly posited or malefically posited, what actually happens is not weakly posited, malefically posited, is that a person has this tendency to keep lying. So alcohol, be careful. We know that when you are, you know, in a state, inebriated, alcoholic state, drunken state, a person keeps spilling out the truth. Very, very dangerous for you people. So people who have to remember what they have spoken earlier, they need to be very careful. They should not be, going into alcohol. They should not consume alcohol, because we keep telling that your a truth doesn't have to be remembered, because anytime you ask, we'll keep repeating the same thing. So we don't have to remember that. A person who lies, he will have to remember 100 things. He will have to remember the situation, the time, and the person to whom he has told it, and who were there, the audience, everything he has to remember. So it keeps amounting to a lot of stress. Okay, let us go ahead. The 12th house is Shayanasthana, the place where a person goes to bed, that is, sleeps. So the insomnia problem comes because of too much of stress and too much of anxiety and fear, which actually has been pumped into the chart because of this Mercury negatively posited in the 12th house, not positively posited. Positively posited, these people have too much of power. I am talking about the negative problem of insomnia, sleeplessness. So they keep awake and they are always fearful. They can't experience this world. They go through a lot of hardships, and this is extremely difficult for happy married life. So this becomes a huge problem for a marriage. So anybody has Mercury in the 12th house, try to meditate and try to cool your thoughts. Do not unnecessarily overthink or take unnecessary burden on yourself, because you are not going to implement them. You are not going to do anything about them. You are only think. Only thinking is of no use. So they are, the urgency into everything is seen in these people. They are like always dancing on their toes. They are always expectation. Expectation is the mother of sorrow. So urgency is nothing but mother of, hypertension, that is BP, blood pressure, anxiety, syndromes of, which can lead to problems of the brain in the future. So that should not happen. You should not go to unnecessary lengths of getting a psychiatric counseling. Why is it required? If you are able to do yoga and meditation and breathing, I think you can avoid all this and live a peaceful life. So that's what is a negative and a strong Mercury in the 12th house. So particularly when Mercury is in the 12th, people usually go abroad for studies if it's a strong Mercury, or they go, if it is a weak one, they just go to a hostel nearby, into a nearby city. They usually, this particular position moves the person away from home for education purpose, nothing else. And if it is the fifth lord, then 100% these people will be, you know, taking their that is their, they will continue their higher education or even college studies in the hostel, away from home. Here it is clear that Mercury is buddhi, intelligence, and to acquire intelligence, these people need a guru, a mentor. And if there is a mentor in their life, they will be, controlled, because too much of mischievous activities in the brain, it keeps continuously eating your brain, like a curiosity, like what is this, what is that, what should I do, when should I do. So these things will keep happening when where a strong Mercury is there in the 12th house. A weak Mercury is there, you are always under fear that what will happen, what can happen, this can happen, that can happen. So you'll always be under fear. So usually these people are very manipulative, witty, skilled. When it is benefic, it is very good because these people can understand the market and business very easily. They can do import and export business very easily. But if it is malefic, the same thing, a whole big ancestral property can be lost in a day because of bad calculations and bad management. So they need support because they are extremely frail, because Mercury is in the house of the 12th, which is a house where you should have decisive activities, like you take decisions on whether I should do this or whether I should do that. So there are two houses which are very important for thinking and progressing in life, that is the Lagna and the 12th house. So these two houses are very important, because if the Lagna is strong but the 12th is also strong and it pulls the Lagna malefically strong, I'm telling, then Lagna will dislodge and it will fall. So the point is that the 12th house has to be a little weak and the Lagna has to be strong if there is a malefic in the 12th house. But if it is positively strong, these people can achieve spiritual heights. They can go to high levels of attaining salvation, self realization. Mercury in the 12th is very good because they are voracious readers. They read a lot, they learn a lot from just observation. If it is a strong Mercury, they can grasp things very fast. So these people want to socialize, they do not want to be alone, they want to be with people. So it is exactly the opposite of Ketu being in the 12th house. Mercury is in the 12th house, so they want to socialize, they want to be with people, they want to show off their strength in mathematics, they want to show off their strength in calculations and manipulations. They want to show off. Who else, if somebody tells good about you, you feel good. So the same thing, Mercury also expects that. So the last thing which is very important as per my notes is that the best remedy for this is better discipline, better life, else it will be very difficult for Mercurian 12th house Mercurian. That is a person who has 12th Mercury and it is weak. Not for a person where Mercury is strong in the 12th house, like it is in its Mula Trikona or its own house or it's in the point of exaltation. People will excel, simply excel because of that particular position. It will be fantastically well posited. But for people who are having a weak Mercury, be careful with regard to your health, mental health, with regard to your family, because you need to give a lot of thought into what you talk and how you take ahead, how you go ahead with your married life. So be very careful with regard to that if it is weak. And also you need to be careful in investments and putting your money. You should know where you are putting your money, because there is a chance of going through sudden losses. So thank you very much for today's class on Mercury in the 12th house.